When you drive into the village of O'Leary, you get the feeling that you've been there before. The flat-roofed buildings, the square storefronts, and the solitary feed shed standing tall by the railway present a scene familiar from the Maritimes to the prairies. In addition to such visual impressions, there are many social and economic similarities between this community, located at the western extremity of Canada's smallest province, and other small agricultural communities in Canada. This perspective was written in 1973 by Andre Beaulieu and L.F. Bradley, two social scientists writing a report for the Canadian federal and PEI provincial governments. Their report has been preserved here at the University of Prince Edward Island, which is celebrating its 50th year anniversary. I mention this because our university was founded in the same year that the Comprehensive Development Plan began, taking place from 1969 to 1984. This Federal Provincial Development Plan, commonly referred to as the CDP, resulted in far-reaching and long-lasting economic, social, and environmental changes on PEI. The Lab for Geospatial Research in Atlantic Canadian History, or GeoREACH for short, takes an interdisciplinary approach to agricultural, environmental, political, and social history. Our research focuses on the long-term sustainability of modern-day agriculture and land use management, topics we approach by considering the effects such changes have on farmers, the land they cultivate, and the communities they live within. Let's turn back to Beaulieu's and Bradley's report. In it, they describe the lives of the Allens, a hypothetical farmer family based in O'Leary. Mr. Allen was a farmer, Mrs. Allen a school teacher. Despite their hard work, if it was not for the annual income of about $3,200 that Mrs. Allen brought in, the family would have had trouble making ends meet. Aside from this, Beaulieu and Bradley identified other problems facing the Allens. Firstly, their farm was small and uncompetitive. Although Mr. Allen sought to expand his farm, his neighbors would not sell. This meant that Mr. Allen had to buy farmland miles away from his farmstead, which took away precious time from his workday. In addition, the Allens relied on mixed farming, a barrier to their farm's efficiency. Specialization would bring lower operating costs and greater economic returns. But why does this matter? From the 1950s to late 1960s, a movement known as high modernism took root, in which governments grew larger, spent more, and attempted to improve people's lives. Researchers like Beaulieu and Bradley identified problems faced by people like the Allens, and devised solutions that could be applied to them. Despite their good intentions, high modernist projects had many flaws, most notably that they rarely engaged stakeholders such as the Allens in the creation of development programs. By the mid-1970s, high modernism was replaced by more sustainable, localized, and stakeholder-centric models of development. The CDP began in 1969 and lasted until 1984, taking place in a period in which its high modernist ideals were out of style even before the plan had begun. By studying the CDP, the GeoREACH Lab is working to better understand the switch from modern to sustainable agricultural development models that occurred in the late 60s and early 70s.